Mm-hmm. I just need some crusty bread, and that'll really hit the spot. Hey there, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm showing you how to make this hearty and delicious quinoa and lentil soup. It is jam-packed with veggies, tons of plant-based protein from the lentil and the quinoa in here, and it is super easy to make. It takes about 30 minutes, a little bit of chopping, and just one pot, and you'll have dinner done in no time. Let's get cooking. So I've gathered all our ingredients here, and I'm going to take a minute to save myself some effort by chopping everything in advance. This is great for a lot of recipes, but especially a soup that has lots of vegetables in it. It's great to take a minute and just clean everything and chop it and do a mise en place, which is setting things up in their place. So that's what I'm going to do right now to make the cooking process easier. I keep a little bowl for my scraps right at the side of the cutting board to make it easier, and I don't have to keep going back and forth to the trash can. So I have easier cleanup. At the end, I can just take this and dump it right into my compost bin. I'm not crying, you're crying. I am just including the greens into this soup. There's no reason to not include them. They add a good flavor, and they just cook down into the soup. That's all our chopped veggies, and we can start cooking. So unfortunately, my audio went out at this part of the video, and I didn't realize until later. What I'm explaining here is that I have my diced onions, and I'm about to start up cooking in my pre-warmed pot. I don't cook with any oil, so I'm adding this to the warm pot with just a little bit of salt, and I'm going to keep an eye on it as it starts to cook. If it needed it, I would add in a splash of water or broth to stop any sticking to the pan, but my onions were pretty fresh here, and I didn't end up needing to add any liquid. Before I add in everything else, I grabbed a bunch of garlic, and I'm going to press this in with the onion. Just be careful to watch it to make sure it doesn't burn. Now this is the fun part where you basically just dump everything else into the pot. We got our sweet potatoes going in, our carrots going in. We have celery. We have peppers and our jalapeno going in. And we're going to give this all a good mix. And then we'll add in our spices and everything else. So spices going into our pot include cumin, celery seed, and smoked paprika, as well as a sheet of nori, which you can leave out if you prefer, but it adds a really delicious taste and that hit of iodine that you need to make sure you are getting when you are on a vegan diet. Give that a good mixy mix, and we're going to add in our washed quinoa and lentils. Give that a good stir. I am notorious for using the wrong sized pot when I'm making soups, so let's add our broth and our water and see if I chose the right size for this soup. But first, I totally forgot about our tomatoes. Let's get those in there. Let's see if I picked the right size. That is 4 cups. And here's the other 4 cups. Ooh! Ha! We made it. So I like to use water, and then I add my own broth powder in. That way I can have more control over the salt level. So I just I buy this in bulk. It is the Frontier Co-op no chicken vegetarian broth powder. It's vegan, obviously. And I'm going to add in enough of this to make what they would consider 4 cups of broth, and then I'll adjust the salt on my own after it's cooked when we taste it. Stir that in, and then we're also going to add in that sheet of nori because we didn't add that yet. And then we're going to just let this come to a low simmer and cook it up. This adds a really, really nice flavor to this soup. It's definitely a unique soup. It's not a flavor combination that you see often, but it is very rich and very delicious. It is a hearty soup for sure. So we got our soup cooking, waiting for that to boil, and then we're going to simmer it for about 20 minutes until the quinoa and the lentils are cooked and everything is nice and tender. And in the meantime, I'm going to chop up some kale because we're going to stir that in at the end, add a nice green pop and some even more health into this soup because obviously there's just not enough veggies. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes. Everything is looking nice and cooked through in there. So we're going to give this a taste, hopefully not burning off my face. We're going to give this a taste, and we're going to make sure that the salt level is where we want it to be and the spice level is where we want it to be. And then we'll add in our kale. Okay, that's pretty delicious. I do want to add a little bit more salt. So I'm going to just add in a little salt. And then I think we'll be done. And we're going to add in the kale. And instead of fighting with this to stir it like that, I'm going to put the lid on and let this just wilt for a couple minutes, and then we'll come back and give it a stir. We got our kale all wilted in there now, and it is ready to eat. So that is it. That is how you make this hearty and delicious quinoa and lentil soup. It is jam-packed with veggies. It is packed with protein from those lentils and the quinoa in there, and it is just a cozy soup to curl up on a warm night. It's easy to make. It only takes 1 pot and a little bit of chopping, and you got this delicious dinner. I would definitely pair this with some crusty bread if you really like that, or a dollop of hummus on top, and dig in. I hope you decide to make this recipe this fall. Let me know if you do. Leave a comment below letting me know what your favorite soup is for this fall and if you're going to be adding this to your rotation. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you never miss another recipe or what I eat in a day video. Thank you so much for being here, and I will